Hello guys, welcome back. In today's video, we shall discuss how to use the scanf function. But before getting started, let us first know the use of the scanf function. You might have observed till now whatever programs that we have written so far does not contain scanf function. So why do we need it now? Well, we very well need it because if you want to take an input from the user while runtime, that means while the program is running, if we want to enter some input or we want to take some input from the keyboard, then we have to use the scanf function. Till now we have assigned the value of variable directly in this way or in this way. So you might think there is no difference between these two statements. Yes, there is a difference. What happens is if we directly assign the value while creating the variable, then it is called as initialization. And when we just create a variable like this and assign a value to it afterwards, then it is called as assignment operation. The difference between initialization and assignment operation is that in initialization operation, what happens is when a variable is created, that variable is directly created with the value that we have given to it. That means the memory for that particular variable is reserved with that particular value. But in case of assignment operation, if we declare a variable like this without giving a value, then some random value will be stored inside that memory region. We call it as a garbage value. So, in case of initialization operation, there is no garbage value present in the variable. The variable is directly created with the value given. But in assignment operation, it is not the case. First, the variable is created with some garbage value, and afterwards, when we assign some value to it, that garbage value will be replaced with the value that we have assigned. So this was an important difference that we all need to know. Okay, so as we were discussing the use of scanf function, we have assigned the value directly here. But if I want to take some value at runtime, then I have to use the scanf function. Now let us see how can we use scanf function to assign some value to this variable I. First of all, let me write the syntax. Scanf. Remember, scanf is a function. So whenever we open a bracket for it, we have to pass some parameters. Now within quotation, I have to write here the conversion code, and after this I have to write a comma, and the second argument that I need to pass is the variable in which we want to store. We are not actually passing the variable, but we are passing address of that variable. Address is a value that is given for each and every variable that is created in the memory. So this was the syntax for scanf statement. Now let us assign some value to I using this scanf function. Now in place of conversion code, we know that we are taking input for an integer. So I need to write %d here. And after that, I need to specify the address of the variable. So for that, we need to get the address of the variable. To get an address of a variable, we have to use ampersand symbol, and then we have to specify the variable name, that is I. So we are scanning an integer, that is %d. That was the first argument that we have specified inside scanf function, and the second argument that we have specified is the address of the variable. The address of a variable is a number, therefore we are not using any quotations here. We are directly passing its value, that is ampersand of I. So let me write a printf statement that will display the value of I after the scanf operation has been performed. %d, comma, I. Now here I am writing only I because I want to print the value of I here, not the address of I. Therefore I am using only I. And here semicolon. Now let us see. Now as you can see here, the pointer is continuously blinking. It is waiting for us to enter some input to it. Now let us write some value, say 6. Now once we press enter or space, the value will get stored in the variable I by the scanf function, and once the scanning operation is performed, the next statement that we have written is, that is printf statement, will get executed. So if everything is right, then we'll see another 6 in the next line. Yes. So the value 6 is getting printed. To better differentiate it, let us write a complete statement. The value of I is okay. So now let us compile and run. Yes, the value of I is 6. As you have observed in the output screen, the pointer is just blinking, but we need to know that we have to enter a value. So for that, we'll write a message. That means we'll print a message on the screen so that a person, whenever he sees the screen, will come to know that he has to enter a value. So we'll write printf enter an integer. So in this way, if you print, then the user will come to know that he has to enter an integer. After this statement gets completed, he'll write an integer that will get scanned by the scanf function, and the value will get stored in the variable I. And after this, the value of variable I will get printed on the screen. So let us compile and run. 3. So the value of I is 3. So this is how we take the value of integer using a scanf function. Now let us see an example for character as well as float. So first let us see for a character variable. If I declare char I, let us compile and run, but before that, in this I need to change the conversion code for this. The conversion code for character is %C, and while printing I have to print %C here, and we have to also modify this integer to character. Now let us compile and run to see the result. Enter a character. Let me write T. So the value of I is T. So this is how we take an input for a character variable. Now let us go for a float variable. Float I. So enter a float value or decimal. Fine. Now the conversion code for a float variable is %F. And finally we have to change here, instead of %C we have to write %F. Now let us compile and run. 6.7. So the value is 6.70, that is equivalent to 6.7. So this is how we use scanf function to take different types of input from the screen and store it into a variable. I hope from this video you have understood the use of scanf function and how a scanf function can be used to store different type of data values in a variable. Thank you for watching.